What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. In this video, we are breaking down wide receiver T. Higgins out of Clemson, going over his potential fantasy outlook prior to the NFL draft. We'll also be breaking down players after the NFL draft, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into it. Before we get started, check out the link in the description. We are offering a free till kickoff special for our fan companion tool. You get access all the way up into the kickoff of the NFL season for absolutely free, so make sure you check out that link. All right, so T. Higgins, wide receiver out of Clemson. I feel like there's not really a more disliked guy in both the fantasy analyst community and in the film grinder community. There's no way to put it nicely. His combine didn't do him any favors. A 4.59 40 time puts him at a 33rd percentile for that 15th percentile burst score. Okay speed score, but he's not a barn burner by any means. I mean, that's pretty evident just from watching his tape, but he has good qualities to his game. There's some things he needs to work on. Probably one of his more annoying traits is he seems to turn around the moment he makes his break. I've seen that on multiple occasions where he's basically just looking back, waiting for the ball to arrive, which you obviously need to turn around, but there's been times he did it like 10, 15 yards before he was even supposed to be catching, which really slows him down. So there's things that he needs to work out in his game, but he has very sure hands, pretty decent route runner, isn't afraid to go over the middle of the field, and has a really good production profile. 50th percentile dominator rating is pretty average. So in terms of total team production, that's something to keep in mind, because when you look at his production and compare it to some other guys, you're like, oh wow, pretty ridiculous. 19.8 yards per reception is insane from last year. 59 targets 2 years in a row, almost 1,000 yards in his sophomore year and over 1,000 in his junior year, and 12 of 13 touchdowns. It's pretty insane. He doesn't have too many concentration drops. He definitely has a good ability to run block. Has made quite a few athletic toe-dragging catches, especially later in his career. This one catch that on the sideline, it was a really, really nice concentration play where something you typically see in the pros, where just drag both feet, went out of bounds, caught the ball. It was a really nice catch. So he has a very good catch radius overall. I just think that it really sucks how poorly he performed at the combine, so that's just going to speak very poorly to what a lot of teams now will see in him. He didn't get a chance to redeem himself at a pro day because there were no pro days due to the pandemic, and now he's basically took his pretty awesome production profile and gave a nice big slap in the face to the analytics community in terms of the workouts that he did do, and now he doesn't have anything to show for it otherwise. There are still redeeming qualities to his workout metrics in terms of who he compares to. Obviously, his best comparable is D'Angelo Yancey, a guy that was injured and didn't get a chance to play in the XFL. But he also compares very closely to Josh Gordon and Hakeem Nicks, two receivers who have been massive fantasy producers at some point in their career. I do think T. Higgins definitely has the talent to be a starter in the NFL. As to what degree, that is debatable. Obviously, he's not your Julio Jones, A.J. Green type because he lacks that top-end speed. But he does have my ball mentality. He's 6'4", decently large, and has a good catch radius, so he can still get it done even in close contested catches. Obviously, you don't want a receiver that's always catching contested catches, but he did, do a good enough job of creating separation on short and intermediate routes. It's just not the guy you're going to expect to see, massive deep downfield balls, but pretty good when it comes to yards after the catch as well. Obviously, 19.8 yards per reception is pretty good, and a lot of that came from being able to break free and avoid tackles. So pretty strong, good at being able to plow through some defenders and create some extra yardage. So there's not really any one thing in his game that he does spectacular or better than anyone else in this class, which definitely brings him down a bit. But there's also not a lot about his game that would make you think that, oh, he's guaranteed going to bust other than his workout metrics, which unfortunately is pretty important, and without being able to run a pro day, it's probably going to hurt his draft capital a bit. I still like him as a prospect. He's a second round value to me in dynasty rookie drafts, and if he goes to a team that is willing to work with him on some of his flaws when it comes to like looking back too quickly, or being able to figure out the best routes that create separation pretty quickly and still be able to use. It's not like he's slow, he just lacks some of the top end speed that you would hope for in a big receiver coming in at 6'4". So if he goes to a team that can play to his strengths, I think that he could end up having a pretty successful career. Fantasy wise, probably wouldn't ever really expect him having more than like a wide receiver 2 season, but again, in the second round, there's going to be a lot of boom bust profiles. I think T. Higgins is more of a conservative approach to drafting, and I do think they'll have decent production to warrant fantasy starts. Possibly not in his first year, but pretty soon on in his career, so definitely worth a second round pick overall. Let me know if you guys disagree or if you have any other points that you want to add to this profile, and I'm really excited to see where all these guys go. That's going to definitely impact our analysis somewhat, but from a talent perspective, it doesn't change what these guys have already done. It just overall opens up their potential opportunity in the near future if they go to a team that's in need of a wide receiver. So we'll see where he goes, and we'll break down his potential even further once we know his landing spot. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.